held responsible for this. They don't. These are capital charges, you know? Child kidnapping, child torture, programming alters, forcing children to learn how to do psychic abilities, you know, forced service in space, plus whatever crimes they have you do in your alters that work for the CIA. You know, these are capital crimes, and they don't want you to be able to testify against them. I know I was at Langley. I cannot testify against individuals because they made sure the faces are gone in my memories.
But is this why they were harassing you, shooting at you, and following you and listening to you? Is because they know that some of this, your memory what brought your memory back?
What brought my memory back was an NSA agent using my Remember code.
And what was the purpose of him bringing you back?
I don't know. I do know they have some sort of a faction war going between the two agencies. And because this agent brought my memories back, I'm now in the middle of it.
Oh, wow.
And no, I don't think the NSA is necessarily any nicer than the CIA. They're both two peas in a pod. To me, it looks like they're fighting over who's going to run the world.
So what would be the purpose of our president trying to create a space force? I mean, we already have one, and I'm sure he is aware of it. Is it just a smokescreen, you feel, Penny?
I don't think he was aware of it. I don't think he's really aware of what else is going on out there. I mean, a lot of people think he's like God. I don't. I think he's a human being and has a lot of issues. I don't want to see him impeached or booted out, but I don't think he's miraculous either. I think he's just a human being in a tough job. I think that he really thinks we need a space force, and I don't think he knows we have one. So, de facto, this would be disclosure of the Earth Defense Force, the level that is around Earth that makes sure the only things that come in are the ones on the approved list. And we already have space platforms with weapons on them pointed both directions, into space and towards the Earth.
And the reason why
that's what Reagan's Star Wars initiative was weapons in space. So that Star Wars initiative already violated all the no weapons in space rules. And yes, we do have bases on the backside of the moon. And yes, we do have bases everywhere else. But you should also understand there are other beings that live on the moon and on every other planet on Earth in the solar system. Because every square inch of territory out there belongs to somebody already.
Interesting.
That's why the Germans had to be allied with someone to be able to build bases. You have to be an ally with someone to be able to use their territory.
If we didn't have the secret space force, what would our world be like?
We would have a lot better infrastructure because all those missing trillions of dollars that they talk about missing from the budget, all that's going to pay for the Space Force.
Now, here's what I get. Okay, like when you retire from the military, you get a pension. You get hurt while you're in the military, you get you get benefits. But you've been abducted when you were a little child, right? Brainwashed, killed, brought back to life numerous times, tortured, and then brainwashed, right, to serve whatever, organization there is out there. After you're done serving your time, basically, they return you with no memory, but they leave you with nothing. I mean,
they not only return you with nothing, but they have you programmed that 20 years later you're going to be sick, so that you will die before your memory comes back.
Oh, so
they do not want us to remember. They do not want us to be successful in this life. I was pre-med microbiology in the early 1980s, and when I got sick, I was booted because that was before the Americans with Disabilities Act, and I was pre-med. They told me that I was not going to have a pre-med slot wasted on somebody who was sick. Period. They weren't even going to allow me to finish my degree. I did transfer to another university, but at that point I was a single parent with 3 kids because I'd been through a nasty divorce. I did get custody of the kids,
okay. But this brings up a question, okay? While this is going on, and you were out on Mars, and then as a navigator, you had, a duplicate of yourself here, or how does that work?
Okay, you're in a time loop.
Can you explain that to the listeners that don't understand, namely me?
Okay. When they take you, they come and get you, and you go through all of my time was 60 years. 50 years in space, 5 years in Langley, so it was 55 years. I went through, in 1990, I was put on a ship with Nachtwaffen as navigator. But at the end of my time, so in 2014, they said, your time's up. And they took me from my ship, and they took me back to Eris Prima and processed me to where I was back to being a 4-year-old. And then they put me through the teleportation back to Earth, the elevator room. And then they transported me across country back to California, where I in this life I've always lived in California, and they did all the time travel necessary, and they got me back to within 15 minutes of when they had taken me.
Oh,
and the processing room still had my pajamas from where they had taken them off me to send me to Langley. And so they put me back in the pajamas that my mom had made, and they didn't get me into the house. They left me on the front step. And that was the summer of 1959, and I started kindergarten in the fall. And I told my teacher that Martians had left me on the doorstep, and my mom just about beat me to death. She says, I gave birth to you. You're my child. She was completely clueless. Martians had left me on the doorstep, but she thought I was sleepwalking. She didn't know that I'd been abducted. She did know that I had amnesia after that, and it took me a little while to be able to talk and know who they were. So yeah, that was 59. You don't talk about Foo Fighters. You don't talk about Martians. You don't, certainly not human Martians. And you don't talk about, Germans in space. And we were poor white trash. You don't talk about science and things like that. And the first few years I was in school, we moved every few months. And by the time I was out of second grade, Marie Curie was my hero. And yeah, I've been different ever since.
Okay, hey, our time is up. You want to tell people how they can find you? I know you run a group on Facebook, and if you want to tell people how they can find you.
Okay, we have a group on Facebook, The Secret Space Program, and it's no longer secret. It's now a closed group, and we do have questions, and if you don't answer them, we won't let you in. And I have a website, spaceportals.net, and it's a combination of social media and old-fashioned forum, and it's kind of a fun place. We're finally getting enough people that we can have conversations, and that got attacked too. We had 5 months we were down last year, but we've now had a couple of donations, and we're at a level where we survived a DDoS attack.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, like always, Penny, it's been great having you on. Again, people, you can check out her Facebook page, check out her website. It's a good read. She's a very nice person. And,
Thank you.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people in your group that have gone through the same thing you have gone through it.
We figured that the group on Facebook, we're there's 200 members now, and we figure at least half of them are actual survivors of these programs, and they're in various stages of memory.
Oh, wow.
So as long as they're trying and they're not nasty to anybody, we let them be.
Great. Well, hey, Penny, you have a great weekend that's coming up, and, maybe in a month or two we'll get you back on.
Thank you. I'd like that.
Okay, kid. Well, you take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, night. Well, tomorrow, a good friend of mine who also was the Saturday host for Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark, he's going to be coming in and doing Fridays for me. So I'm going to be doing Monday through Thursday on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. Then on Friday on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark with Gary, you'll have James coming in between 8 and 9 p.m. Pacific West Coast time. So you're looking at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you listen to his show tomorrow. He has Mary Joyce on, who runs a reporting group for like Bigfoot, cryptids, and UFOs. And she'll be on for a whole hour tomorrow talking about what is going on with Earth changes, UFO reports, and maybe even Mothman. Who knows? Everybody, you have a great one. We'll catch you on Monday. So take care.